up? Cool Things with Rob here. This is Rob, and my sister Julie is with me, and we are on the road. We have left the state of Georgia for a change, and we are in Wisconsin, Marshall, Wisconsin specifically, visiting the coolest little amusement park that you could ever imagine. It's kind of out in the middle of nowhere, and it's called Little Amerricka. Little Amerricka. Daryl, what is your position here?
I'm the general manager.
Okay, so
and the janitor.
And so
I'm sorry.
You're a working boss, huh?
I am, yeah. The park dates back, we started out as a Christmas tree business years ago. That's why the unusual layout here with all the asphalt. This was a parking lot,
yeah.
And the building behind us was a tree building.
Oh.
And there's a train station across the way. And it started out actually on the original track around the pond and expanded up here so that people could find us easier. So it's Christmas tree business is how it started out. People come here to get a Christmas tree. Lee Merrick, the owner of the park, the original owner of the park.
Hence the name, right?
Yeah, exactly. And Merrick, it's just Amerricka, play on his name, the park here. And Lee, in the very beginning, he just wanted everything to be family affordable fun. You know, remember when he was younger, all the small kiddie lands around, and you could take your family there, and always thought, a place where young families could afford to go.
We had Peppermint Park in Madison.
Yeah. Yeah, that was quite a long time ago, right?
Yeah, well, I'm not getting any younger.
Yeah, yeah.
But so, yeah, when I was a kid, that was the equivalent of that's our Disneyland.
Right. So basically, we have a lot of the same rides that were at those parks back in the day.
This is so freaking cool. So tell us about the Meteor.
Like a lot of rides here, the Meteor we're very proud of, but it has a fun fact that nobody really cares about and is hard to advertise, but it's the only wooden roller coaster in the world that's been moved twice and is still running.
Oh, wow.
It started out at Kittytown in Chicago and then got moved to Hillcrest Park in the 50s.
How do you move a roller coaster?
Well, here's the deal about that. When you tear down a wooden roller coaster, and we've become consultants for other people because of this. And when everybody asks me about it from other parks, how did it work out moving a wooden roller coaster? I always say this: everything that comes apart easy ends up being rotten, and everything that breaks when you take it apart was probably okay. So we save on this particular coaster. If you look around, anything you see that's white, painted white, that's original lumber.
Oh, okay.
Anything that's not white, we've replaced.
So tell me about this monorail. We took a ride on that. That's just really amazing, and you get such a great view of the park.
Yeah, the monorail was built by the Allen Herschel Company. They only ever built 2 of them, and the other one they built was for Peony Park, and Peony Park was in Omaha, Nebraska. I went to an auction at Peony Park, they had a little kiddie car ride. Yeah. And then they had a little kiddie boat ride that I saw when I was there, which is over in the corner in Kittyland. So they have this auction, and I buy this boat ride, and along they come to auction off the monorail, and where it was, they had the poles went, and they were over buildings, they went down in the buildings, and it went around a man-made swimming hole. Right. So their swimming pool is as big as our whole park. Wow. And there was parts of it that were in the water, it was all, and nobody would bid on it. It was like, it's crazy. How could you can't even tear it down? Oh, and so I said to the guy, I said, well, I'll give you $500 for it. And the auctioneer says, the scrap guy will give us $5,000. I don't remember where we ended up meeting, but I went there to buy a little kiddie ride, and we ended up buying this monorail, and we tore it down and brought it back home. Interesting for us, we have that toboggan that's out front.
Yeah, tell me about that.
So that toboggan, Chance Manufacturing made the toboggan as a trailerable ride that was go around with carnivals. This was the prototype ride and never went on the road with a carnival. It was built for Dog Patch USA and was at that time a state-of-the-art roller coaster with the tubes and everything, the beginning of that type of deal. It was built in 1969 and it is serial number 01. And,
is that the only one they made?
No, they made quite a few of them. There's a few still in existence. For carnivals, the number of people you can put through it at a time is not that many.
Yeah.
So for carnival operators, it didn't pan out as good, so a lot of them haven't been kept up and running and restored. It's one of the few rides where the third owner, from Dog Patch USA, it went to Enchanted Forest in Chesterton, in Indiana.
Okay.
And we went there actually to look at the scrambler that we have here. The intent was to go there if we could buy it for the right price. So we went there for the scrambler. And while we were there, Lee saw that ride and it was tan and brown. And I walked by the Mad Mouse, and as a kid I remember riding the Mad Mouse, and I thought, wow, we could. So Lee was thinking that, I was thinking that. We bought the scrambler and then ended up buying both those. So all three of those rides came from Chesterton. So they had bought that ride used, so we're the third owner of that. But the scrambler and the Mad Mouse were purchased brand new by that park. They were set up once. We tore them down and moved them here. So those two rides have been in two spots in their whole lives, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I have a picture of the owner of the park with the Mad Mouse from when he bought it.
Yeah.
It's the coolest picture. This guy standing with sort of a derby top hat looking thing, got a cigar, bunch of little kids, you know, something you never see that kind of thing nowadays.
What year was that about?
I'm going to say it was early 50s when that ride was new. Super proud of the little fire truck ride in Kittyland.
Yeah.
That's Pinto Brothers. It's probably late 1930s.
Whoa.
And the cars are sought after as collectors. You know, people like to have them put it on their shelf or whatever.
Yeah.
And we still use it as a ride. And I think it's fun that kids can come and it's almost a 100-year-old ride that they can ride, you know. They don't know any different.
What's the attraction of a Little America?
Well, we're very family orientated. It's very accessible. It's a lot of grandparents bring kids here, let them go off and play, and they'll sit and read a book. I wish somebody was doing that right now and prove my point.
I saw a guy inside, yeah.
So, you know, like there's a mom sitting over here and chill, you know, they let their kids go off and play, and it's safe enough and small enough where they can run off and do that. You know, we do get busy, you know, to where the park gets busier, but like a lot of days, you know, are a little bit like this where there's a smattering of people here and everybody, I mean, people say, how long do you have to wait in line?
Yeah.
And I always say, well, you have to wait until the ride stops usually. And then you can get on. There's not a half-hour wait to get on rides.
So there's no need to spend an extra $300 on a fast pass, huh?
Right, exactly. But you know, it's a very much, our customer is like mom and dad, grandma and grandpa, or some combination of that, and they have kids 13 and under. A lot of siblings ride here, older siblings, they have a blast too when they have younger siblings they're riding with, because it just, and you know, parents, they come here and they're like, oh, we're not gonna ride.
Yeah.
But after they come once or twice, parents ride, everybody's a kid when they come over. You know, it's just sort of, we always talk about it being old nostalgic, a throwback to the 1950s small amusement parks, and that's what we're not trying to be anything else. We're just here, we're a day trip for people to come and have a good time.
Well, this is just really a treasure, and you also run, I see, Halloween pumpkin patch and Christmas tree stuff. What about that?
The pumpkin train is boards here at the park, and we have a pumpkin field that's on the railroad line that we incidentally keep stocked because you know, we actually use one of our work trains. After the train leaves, we run out with bins of pumpkins and restock the field so it always looks like it's full of pumpkins for the kids. So they always get a full pumpkin thing, and that's a lot of fun for them. It's very popular, and we run that pretty much on weekends in October.
Okay, so I made this video into a part 1 and part 2 because there's a key component of what makes Little America so cool that I barely even touched on. So in part 2, we'll look specifically into Little America's Whiskey River Railroad, the park's amazing park railroad that includes diesel, steam, and coal-powered locomotives. We'll see how some of these locomotives are actually custom built at the park shop as well. In the meantime, you gotta admit, Little America as a whole is pretty darn cool. To me, it's a throwback to the small amusement park locally where I was growing up, brought back to life. To parents and grandparents, it shows you don't have to spend $500 a day plus airfare to go wait in super long lines in Florida, for example, and totally break the bank in 95-degree heat. To the kids, they don't care about any of this. They just want to run around, ride the rides, and have a great time while the grown-ups can hang out and, for example, read a book or join the kids on any of the amazing array of rides assembled here, mostly from now defunct smaller amusement parks all over the country. To me, the fact that Little America still exists today is pretty darn cool. So check out part 2 where we look at and ride the trains on the Whiskey River Railroad, and in the meantime, there may be kids watching, heck out there and find something cool yourself.